Alright guys, in this video I wanted to go over why you don't look the way that you want to. And this is despite, lots of dieting, trying to get down into ultra levels of leanness. This is something I see a lot of people trying to do, especially early on in their lifting careers, that they're trying really hard to cut down to like this super shredded physique, because let's face it, that looks really cool and it's a big accomplishment if you're able to do that. It takes a ton of discipline, effort, willpower, consistency, etc. But the main issue with this is that if you were early on in your training career, you do not have the level of muscularity to support that look that you want. If you look at most, if not all, of the people that you look up to with their physique, they probably have a ton of muscle mass for their frame. And the reason why this is so important is that muscle determines how you look more than body fat does, as far as your shape, how deep your lines sort of appear when you are lean. Because if you don't have a lot of muscle mass, you're going to look completely different than someone who has a lot of muscle mass at, say, 10% body fat. A lot of times when you look at these people that have been dieting down for a long time and they're like, why do I not look very good? Like, why do I seem to look quote unquote worse past a certain point? A lot of that is just because you are not muscular enough for your frame to look the way that you want to. And something that one of my past clients reached out to me about on Instagram about, he's like, hey dude, I remember that you told me a while back that I don't look the way I want to, and even though I've been cutting really hard, I feel really tired, I'm hungry, I'm noticing all these effects of being very lean, I don't look the way I want to, I'm not having my abs pop the way I want, etc. And I was like, well, you probably just need more muscle mass. And he's really dedicated more time to growing, and now he's able to cut down to the same spot. He's like, wow, I actually look the way that I want to. So my main thing here is that it's called bodybuilding for a reason. Most of your time should be spent in a surplus, slowly gaining weight, adding on tissue, and you should only cut intermittently. And most people shouldn't cut down past the point where they're noticing that their training performance is starting to suffer at the expense of leanness, unless you have a photo shoot you want to do and document and get that documented for yourself or your followers, whatever, have some cool pictures, or you're stepping on a stage, because that's unsustainable. You're going to have to rebound anyways, and that fatigue is going to get really high. Cutting down to a level where you feel good, you might be pushing it a little bit, but your fatigue isn't uncontrollably high, performance isn't regressing. But really, I'm going to encourage everyone, focus on building muscle, small calorie surpluses over an extended period of time. Gaining, say, 10 pounds over 4 to 6 months, letting your numbers go up. And I guarantee you that if you do that, and then you do these brief mini cuts of, say, 4 to 6 weeks, where you diet down to, maybe you gain 5 pounds of muscle, you're going to look better and better and better over time as you do that, and actually look the way that you want. So again, muscle mass is what builds physiques and what gives these guys their shape and their actual look. If you don't have a lot of muscle mass, you shouldn't be trying to get shredded. You shouldn't be trying to cut down excessively. You should be focusing on building that base and what's going to actually let you look the best long term. And just, again, this is the whole thing I see happen all the time. I get into this trap a lot of times, and whatnot. It's sad to see, but focus on building a physique, and over time you're gonna look the way that you want to a lot more when you grow into that physique and that look, versus if you're trying to just constantly stay as lean as possible. You never let yourself go up a little higher in body fat percentage, you never gain size. The reality is that if bulking cutting is necessary if you want to maximize your physique outcomes, there's no way around it. You have to bulk and cut if you want to get to your physique. That doesn't mean you get fat, but it means that you're having a controlled rate of weight gain, and you're building muscle, you're getting stronger, and then you cut down for a brief period of time, and then you go right back in surplus. And one last point I just want to say is that chronically under eating will sacrifice your progress all the time. If you're constantly dieting, you're constantly underfeeding yourself, you're constantly scared of seeing the scale weight go up or gaining an ounce of body fat, this is, number one, it's not the sport for you, it's not the hobby for you. You should find something else, because this is a part of the process, is just accepting that's a trade-off. But this is, you have to be willing to accept the trade-offs, and that you are going to gain some body fat, and it's going to be worth it long term. You can lose fat super fast, so focus on the long term. this video was helpful. Focus on building your physique long term, not only getting as shredded as possible. That is what's going to result in you looking the way that you want and maximizing your actual genetic potential.